Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel. Welcome to a video where we're going to take a look at one element of Gran Turismo 7 update 1.20, because there has been some rather substantial changes to the way the tyre wear is visualised. Now this is mentioned within the patch notes, of course. Under the physics simulation model, it does say they have adjusted the simulation for tyre heat generation and wear ratio. This adjustment makes it easier to see the remaining tread. Now, I kind of read this, didn't think too much of it until I jumped in and done a daily race C post update 1.20. So this week's daily race C is basically an Alpha 155 one make at Dragon Trail Gardens. Tyre wear is only at ×1 and we are on the racing hard tyres. Now post update 1.20, my tyre wear at the end of the race looked like the tyres on the left hand side, and after update 1.20 my tyres looked like the tyres you can see on the right hand side. So a rather substantial difference. The tyre wear, essentially looks about 10 times worse. There's just a wee sliver of tyre wear pre-update 1.20 and post-update 1.20, they look around about 10 to 15%. So yeah, a big difference. But one very important thing to point out about this is that in terms of lap time, the tyres wear wasn't really affecting the lap time post-update 1.20 compared to pre-update 1.20, despite the fact the tyre wear looked so much worse. So it was time to do some testing. And that test was to do basically a 1 hour race around Circuit de Catalunya Nacional layout, which has obviously been included in the update as well. Go on the racing hard tyres. I put the tyre wear multiplier at ×2, and yeah, just see how the performance dropped off as the race went on. So as we jump on board the footage here, we're around about 15 minutes into the race. We've got around about 25% tyre wear, and yeah, ignore lap 12, that was just a brain fade moment into turn 1, because obviously this is a new turn 1 for this layout. But you can see the lap time there, a 116.5, which is only a tenth slower than our fastest lap we did on lap 10. So with 25% tyre wear on the telemetry, the lap times certainly haven't dropped off too much at all. Now, prior to update 1.20, around about 25% tyre wear on the hard tyres would definitely have seen a slight drop off in performance. Nothing too significant, but you'd probably be feeling the car understeering just a little bit more, and maybe the lap times dropping off by a few attempts. So jumping forward here to around about the halfway point in the run, our tyre wear is now at 45%. Now, prior to update 1.20, if you ran the tyres, and when I say the tyres, I'm particularly talking about the front left, which is doing the most work around this track. Had you ran the tyre wear to 45%, you would have a significant drop off in performance. Probably around about 8 to 9 tenths, maybe even over a second per lap. But as you can see here, we crossed the line with a 116.6 at the time, only about 3 to 4 tenths off our best lap. And I can assure you that the car barely felt any different at that point. So there was definitely something in the water here. There was definitely a big change that has occurred with the way the tyre wear is being visualised. Moving on to around about 45 minutes into the race, we've got around about 70% tyre wear now. We're going to come across the line here for a 116.6, so again we're only a few tenths off our best lap at this point with 78% tyre wear. Prior to update 1.20, the car wouldn't exactly be undrivable at this point. Again, a brain fade moment into turn 1 there. Kept doing that over and over again, maybe about 5 or 6 times over the course of the run. As I said, the car wouldn't have been undrivable. Your lap times, you'd probably be 1.5 seconds off your best lap time with 70% tyre wear, understeering all over the place. But the car still felt more than drivable, even despite the fact that we could see what appears to be so much tyre wear. And moving on to the end of the race, our tyre wear is now about 85%, 90% maybe on that front left. The lap times now have started to tail off a little bit, doing kind of low 1:17s, but still, given how bad the tyres appear to look, that's not too bad at all, given that our best lap was a 116.2. Prior to update 1.20, this car would now be practically undrivable. So, there has been a very significant difference in the way that the tyre wear has been visualised. Basically, if you've still got some white on the tyres, you've still got some reasonable grip to work with. It's only when you kind of completely lose the weight on the telemetry for one of the tyres that the car goes off the cliff. So it kind of does match up to what they said. It does make it easier to visualise the tyre wear or the tread left on the tyres, but yeah, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. So from what I could learn on this test, and obviously, you know, this is just kind of, you know, preliminary findings, if you like. You know, I'd have to do so much more testing to really kind of get to the crux of how this new tyre wear is going to work. Basically though, if you have around about 50% tread left on the tyres, you still have pretty much the same grip as you would if the tyres were at 100%. It's only when you get to maybe around about 60%, 70% that you'll start to notice a little bit of loss on the grip. It's not going to be anything too substantial. Well, it certainly wasn't on this Group 4 Jaguar anyway. Just a little bit of understeer starting to kick in. It wasn't really until we got to around about 80 to 90% tyre wear that the car started to feel just a little bit more heavy, a little bit more understeery, and it was kind of more reflected in the lap times. Now, of course, we were burning fuel off as that run went on. We had burned off 50% of the fuel by the end of the run, so it's definitely a factor as well. But in terms of, you know, how the tyre wear is now visualised post update 1.20 compared to update 1.19, it is a rather big difference. It's going to take a bit of getting used to. As I said, you know, post update or pre-update 1.20, when the tyre wear got to around about 30% either on the hard mediums or the softs, you definitely used to feel the tyres pretty much go off the cliff at that point. You know, you'd start losing seconds per lap. And yeah, so this change in the tyre wear and the way it's visualised is certainly going to take a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, as I said, 50% tyre wear, you still pretty much have the maximum grip on the tyre, or certainly not far off it. 75% tyre wear, you're starting to lose a little bit of grip, but it's nothing too substantial. You know, definitely easy to still drive the car and deal with it. It's not until you get to that sort of 90% wear on one of the tyres that you'll really see the lap time start to drop off. And I'm going to guess, and I actually thought it would have been the case as I did this run, I'm going to guess that once you kind of completely lose that weight on the tyre wear or one of the tyres, that's when the tyres or the lap times will start to go off the cliff. But yeah, hopefully this has been useful to you in a little way, shape or form. As I said, a lot more testing would be required to really come to some 100% concrete conclusions. I need to test the medium tyres, the soft tyres, but you can appreciate that would be quite time consuming indeed. But overall, the update has been quite positive, I think. I hear the lobbies are a lot more stable, the MR cars are definitely more drivable, and we've got some changes here to how the tyre wear is reflected. I'm not sure I'm a fan at the moment, but at least I need to give it a chance before I kind of make that judgment completely, do some more actual daily race Cs, and yeah, maybe this is why we've been getting the kind of ×1 tyre wear for the daily races and a lot of the GTWS. This has maybe been a plan going forward, or something they've been planning implementing for a period of time. So what it's basically going to do to the game now is that even a tyre multiplier of ×2 or ×3 on the medium or soft tyres is going to actually seem like quite a high time multiplier, you know. But it remains to be seen how things are going to manifest themselves as the game goes forward. But yeah, hopefully the video's been useful in a little bit of a way, shape or form to kind of get you informed about how the tyre wear is now visualised. If it has been, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.